We are we're two guys in LA who have always been kind of jamming with each other at various at least despite reputation still kind of a music town. So my partner and I have been jamming in clubs and jam sessions and speakeasies and all sorts of crap all around town for quite a while. And by the time we started to make music and actually record it and put it out, we had already been playing with each other in various things for years, really. So, as way of intro to us, it's just two longtime friends who I guess the pandemic inspired us to actually put the shit out for a change instead of just do it for fun. Um, and yeah, and we wanted to, I don't know, do it the old way where you lead with the stuff and the artwork, and finding out what people look like and what they're like in their personal lives was kind of an afterthought and came way later if it ever came at all.
Yeah.
Um, only really applied to like actual famous people, getting into people's personal life. Otherwise, it was check out this band or don't. So I don't know, that appealed to us a lot. So we decided to just like not tell people and just see if we would get some progress made from the stuff itself and that alone. And so far, it's been small but very gratifying, very satisfying.
Sounds very good, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
My pleasure. So the band we're talking about are called Sym Fera. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Yeah, Sym Fera, like symphony and the word feral. Yeah,
Feral Symphony. I like it.
yeah.
And you've recently released your single Beg. So how's the early reaction been to it?
Well, it's good. I mean, we kind of operate with our hands tied behind our backs a little bit because of this thing. So it's funny because we've done well in the syncing space and YouTube and stuff, and socials are teeny tiny. And I think that's just kind of the way we've just accepted that as a reality of not engaging with our friends and family and our personal networks to promote this thing. So like that's usually how you at least get started on your socials, that you share it with all your friends and you share it with people you know in your town, and hopefully that eventually leads to strangers. But we decided to not even do that first part. So it's funny because our socials are invisible basically, and yet streams and the views on the YouTube are encouraging. And so that's we kind of did things backwards in that way. So yeah, I mean, people have heard it, have really liked it, and mostly my partner and I are just kind of operating under the would we like this if we discovered it in what do you call it? V, do you call it the upside down on Spotify
Yeah, the
when
upside
you
down.
listen when you listen to a song and then Spotify goes, oh, you might like this, and kind of starts playing random crap at you. So we're like, if we heard our stuff that way, it just kind of popped up, would we like it? And that's kind of how we judge whether we should actually show it to anybody. So far we've felt that way about this one, and we're really proud of this the music video, especially that Josh Schaffner made for us. It's pretty incredible. So we're grateful if anybody likes it, and we like it. So that's
That's
that.
all that counts.
V, do you have anything to add to
Yeah, I mean the reaction to Beg, at least from our peers and such like that, has been really positive in terms of it's a very different sounding song than anything we've put out, and has a very different visual than anything we've put out so far. So obviously it's day one of the music video out and 1 week into the song being out. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully people appreciate the storyline and the artwork that we put together with Josh.
Yeah, Josh is he's we're not worthy. He's pretty awesome. He did I think he did the I know this is not a very heavy mag artist, but he did the animations for the last Harry Styles tour behind, on stage with him. There's like visuals and stuff. He did the all of the sort of visual curating, and he animates everything himself. He's like a one man studio, so he's not using AI or anything. He's just very very good at what he does. So we were very lucky, and we keep. It's funny that this project is kind of getting lucky like this a bunch of times because we keep getting people we admire to work with us because they seem to like it. So
All right.
we're very encouraged by that. So Josh obviously is a big pro, and agreed to work with us solely because he liked the song. So that's been happening in various weird ways and small ways, and that's what's been encouraging us to keep going this way.
Yeah, very cool. Now, Sym Fera are described as an atmospheric rock outfit. Is that a fair description? Like, I got a feeling there's a lot more to it than that.
I guess so. I mean, I think when the word rock got expanded quite a bit since the 70s and the 60s, and I think it people forget even in the 70s it also applied to artists like Pink Floyd and I mean everything from AC. There's a huge birth of a difference in sonically between Pink Floyd and like Led Zeppelin or AC/DC or something. So I think if you use rock in that sort of very, very big umbrella term, sure, yeah, I think we're atmospheric. It's funny, we whenever people ask us what genre, it's like we can't really commit because we love artists like Beck and you know, I mean Pink Floyd's a great example too, and Radiohead and all these artists that kind of won't pick a team and stick with it. They just keep adding instruments and changing things and taking risks. And so I think in terms of those types of rock bands, I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So to date, you've released the singles "Nobodies," "Little Things," 11/8, and now "Beg." So how do those four songs represent Sym Fera as a band?
Oh yeah, there was also a song in the very beginning called "Darkness Visible." I think that was our first one. Um, and then there's some remixes we have out. But how do they represent us as a band? I think I don't know. I mean, it's been collaborative mostly, so it's like I can speak a lot about what the lyrics mean because I usually lean in heavily into the lyric writing, and V can tell you what inspired him to create the production sounds that he created. Um, and we've had a bunch of people collaborate with us I mean, we have this whole little community of artists here that everybody shares weirdly. So how does it represent? I don't know. I think what is it we said once? V, we were just talking about like, oh, we want it to be like like a sex playlist during the apocalypse or something, like
Very cool.
post-apocalyptic hookup playlist, maybe.
I think we're really trying to make music like he said, like for ourselves in the sense of like would we listen to it? So a big part of that is appealing to other producers, other music makers. That's a big part of like the start of this whole process. So I do think that's kind of been a big part of the goal, and all the work I kind of put into the early production stuff was to try to hybrid two sides of us into the sound. So like we love projects like James Blake, but then we also love projects like Jim James and Jeff Buckley. So we're really trying to show both sides of that. And the reason I was saying earlier is that Beg is such a departure from those. It's more on the heavy one side than it is a accumulation of two sides of the coin. It's very much more the James Blake leaning side. So it's fun. We're trying to show people, many different aspects of us.
Yeah, I think like you said, I mean, there's when people say rock, they usually mean hard rock. They usually mean straight ahead, AC/DC, Jet, Wolf Mother, bands like this, Sabbath, and they forget, Pink Floyd is always is really the band I like to mention most of the time because even in the 70s they were kind of an anomaly, but they were still weirdly thrown into that pile of Hendrix and Stones, and really they sounded nothing like them. I mean, there was saxophone, there was violins, it was very down tempo, it was very cinematic. So I think I like to point that out because the word rock has this sort of strong identity until you realize how diverse some of the artists that get categorized that way are, if that makes any sense.
Yep, it does indeed. So are those singles standalone, or are they part of a bigger album or EP picture?
The latest ones are going to be part of a bigger, a longer release. We've got pretty much all the candidates picked out for that, but I think there's more kind of being added lately because recently started collaborating with a couple artists that we admire that are much bigger than we are, and they're not mixed or anything or ready yet. So we can't say necessarily yet because it wouldn't be fair to them. But um, first of all, we've been surprised at who wanted to collaborate with a small, a kind of a underground project like this. But yeah, if those songs move quickly, I think they could also be part of the longer release. But yeah, we're definitely the album art of on Nobodies and Beg is clearly, they're similar. It's from the same painter named Jessica Gabrielle, who painted those. And I think the next couple singles and the next release will all be from that same visual artist to tie them all together. So yeah, it's definitely part of a longer release plan. But I don't know. I've also found that a lot of artists I like are kind of abandoning the EP LP format. They're just releasing singles and then they all compile them. So I don't know. I mean, going forward, I don't know how loyal we'll be to the you release a 4 song EP and then you release a this many song LP. I think we might just put stuff out there as fast as we can and just let it accumulate. I'm not sure how that'll play out, but yeah, a couple artists I like aren't doing the foreign. I think this artist named Still Woozy, who's got a pretty decent following. He's kind of this like lighthearted, um, electro alternative pop guy, and I think he just puts songs out whenever he feels like it,
Yeah, a
and
lot of
they're hardly ever compiled properly. Yeah.
yeah. And so you mentioned the sonic diversity, I guess, between the songs that you've released so far. So along those lines, like how many more sonic layers have you guys got left to explore?
I think with 11.8, the remix bundle that we put out, I think that showed a lot of our different sides. Like we put out a version of the song that was very stripped down and really just showed the us, playing piano and singing, which was just very fun. The string, orchestral version of that is something I think we'll be showing a lot more of in releases. Like we've been having a lot of fun collaborating with our buddy Jesse on string renditions and orchestral versions of such, trying to get more into the cinematic space. I think, who knows, honestly, I would say just after some recent recording that we've done, there's probably a layer of a more organic, super raw side that we have yet to fully show. That's
Maybe even
probably,
rootsy.
yeah, like just like way more stripped down. Um,
We can't
like
pick a lane. I have such a hard time. Even when we got our first EP deal, they were like, "So, what genre are you?" And we're like, "I don't want to say because then you'll hold me to it." You know what I mean? I don't want to. What if I feel like making a crazy, weird choice tomorrow? I want to be able to do that. Yeah, we say alternative because it's the easiest to get away with.
Yeah, true that. Now we sort of touched on this a bit before in the intro, guys, but when you started, like you've kept your identity secret the whole time. There's only a select few people in the world know who the two of you actually are at the moment. So it's I'll say I know you touched on it, but why the secrecy in it? Like from what I read, it's a fascinating way of looking at things.
Well, I mean, we've both got some. We've both got if we're born and raised in LA, and when you are born and raised in LA, you meet people who make the stuff that everybody hears and sees, and it's a music town, it's a film town. So you start to if you're out kind of running around the live music scene, you do meet a lot of people, and you start to gain a sort of digital footprint of like we used to play in clubs and stuff, and a lot of the stuff we used to play in clubs sounds kind of nothing like this. And the people we started associating ourselves with online and out in public sound nothing like this. And we were kind of just like, I don't want to go into this with the preconceived notions of what people expect us to make if we're planning on just throwing a total curveball, because I want to know if anyone actually likes the stuff on its own. And I think if we went by our names right, it's not like we're so not famous or anything. I think everybody has a digital footprint now. I mean, it didn't used to be the case, but I think everybody and their mother, you can look up, you can find a lot about
Yeah.
somebody by just typing their name in. So, I think our footprints of our personal lives were very much in one musical camp, and we wanted to go in a totally different one. And we were also like, well, what if somebody likes our footprint or doesn't like it, either direction, it would influence whether they even whether they like the stuff, whether they want to listen to the stuff. And we were like, what if we just took that off the table and just people had no choice but to judge the stuff on its own with no face or personality attached. It's the only way to know really whether you like it or not. I mean, like, how many times have you seen a trailer for a movie and then an actor you hate his face, he pops up and you kind of go, oh, forget it. Then it's like, what if that movie's awesome but you just hate that guy? Or what if that movie blows but oh, that actor is so great, so you go see some shitty, you know, corporate bullshit blockbuster film and it's like, he's usually so good, I guess he just wanted the paycheck. It's like these personalities kind of get in the way. And I always love that moment where, like, you discover a film, as using the film metaphor, and you kind of go, I've never seen any of these actors before, and that film was incredible. You know that the only reason that film was incredible was the film, nothing to do with, oh, I heard that actor married this actor, and I heard that that person does this. And it's like, no, you're going in blind, haven't even seen a trailer, is such an awesome feeling. So I think we wanted to do that, and I don't know if that makes any sense, but we're also just fucking sick of, everyone's overexposed, aren't they? I mean, isn't it kind of nice to just go, no, you don't get to come in my living room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this or not, but if I'm not, I'll cut it out. But like one of your relatives, like if that name was dropped, you guys would be top of the charts straight away, pretty much. You know, so I think it's very admirable the way you're doing it, and the fact that
Well, I think it also applies to one of our coworkers, a couple of the coworkers. So, but anyway, but I know what you mean. I think
yeah, like but the
top
fact
of the charts is ambitious, but I think we just wanted to know what people thought of the stuff without reference to anybody else. And I think
Without influence, yeah.
as you can tell, I mean, there's it's nowhere near the same, you know,
nah,
record store corner as that. So
got to
I
give
think
you
we
guys
wanted to just, yeah.
you guys have got to be so happy with it, so proud, I guess, of yourselves and your music. The fact that it is getting this traction just based on the fact that it's music, not identity.
I mean, no one is. I don't believe in a total bootstrap. You know, pull yourself up. I mean, everybody, especially growing up in this town, is a leg up. Let alone any connections we have. So I'm not trying to say like, oh, look, we did it with no help whatsoever. Of course we did. We have a huge leg up in so many different ways. But in terms of just people digesting the art piece, I wanted to know what they thought of it without coloring their opinion of it with anything else. So that was just, it's not about like whether we get full credit or anything. It's just like, I wonder what people actually think of this song if we didn't lead them to water, so to speak. I don't know if that makes any sense, that distinction, but
Yeah, yeah. And how do you keep the secrecy maintained, I guess, when you play live?
So we've only done one show, and we kept that show kind of pretty private for friends and family and industry only. Um, and so it was pretty easy, but we kept the lighting very like ominous and backlit and stuff like that anyway. And the show we did in December of 2021, I think it was, we did phone pouches so no one could even take photos.
Right.
Um, so that was really, really fun. And it was like a surround sound audio and lighting kind of immersive experience. And
So
when people
cool.
didn't have their phones, it kind of validated this whole mission statement to me, because people were all, the only place their eyes were looking were forward at the show. And the only place their ears were, you know, listening to the speakers. So it was really cool to see how that altered everyone else's experience of the performance. Very validating also, I think, just in concept. But that's how we
it was
keep it
kind of
going.
nice that making them do it like they had no choice.
And we've put out a few live performance videos and stuff like that of a bunch of our songs. And, you know, we just use lighting to kind of mask our faces and stuff. And again, to reiterate what my partner was saying, it's not like there's any significance to what my face looks like, positive or negative, but it's just keeping the focus on what matters, which is the art, and not the like, what do they do with their lives and what did they have for breakfast and things like that.
Yeah. We also, yeah, we to piggyback off that, it's we're not we're also not trying to make that the point either.
Yeah,
Like, oh, look how mysterious they're being. I mean, we hope no one would even notice because it's an unknown band. So who would even notice that you don't know that unknown band's, real names? We just thought, oh, let's just lead with the thing we want to lead with, and let's just not mention it. And I think a few people in interviews we've done have glommed on to the mystery as sort of a deliberate kind of a PR choice. And I want to emphasize that it's really not what we're trying to do. It kind of just ended up that way. We weren't trying to be like Sleep Token or like Daft Punk or something. We're just trying to, we were just trying to like go unnoticed so that the cool music video with a cool song would be the only thing people encountered, and they wouldn't encounter our personal social medias in the meantime. I think that was just like we wanted to keep it kind of pure.
yeah,
So we're not trying to be deliberately Zorro about it. I mean, that's not part of the plan. That's just kind of ended up that way. But yeah, I hope that distinction is clear. Like there's nothing wrong with being deliberately mysterious. I think the Sleep Token thing is actually kind of rad. But that wasn't what we were trying to do. We were just trying to keep focus.
yeah. So basically, it's not a gimmick. You guys keep your identity secret. It's more it's just a personal choice.
Yeah, we were just trying to be shy. We're not trying to be like, ooh, don't you want to know? It's like, no, it's fine. You don't have to know.
Yeah,
It's fine.
very
Just like the song or don't, whatever.
yes. So what is next for Sym Fera? Like, it sounds like he's got a bit in the wind. So what's next?
Oh, we've got. I mean, I hope pretty soon. I hope this year or the early next year is going to be a couple different um, collaborations with these artists that we admire that have come forward. We just finished a week in studio with an artist we were both just fans of before, who we just got connected with, and he freaked out over the stuff we showed him, the unreleased stuff, and he just spent a week in the studio with us just making stuff. So we have a whole other, at least an EP's worth of stuff that we made with this artist. And then there's another artist who's much bigger than any of us who took an interest. We wrote a song for Sync, which for those of you not in the biz, it's a song to pitch to TV and movies, where we found some success there. That we like the idea of maybe scoring someday. I know that's
Yeah.
that's a goal of my partner's. He's pretty sophisticated at putting an audio identity behind a visual piece. So I think at some point, scoring a film or a TV show would be in the cards. But in the meantime, definitely these collaborations. You'll see some more established artists featuring us and us featuring them and that sort of thing.
Very good. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much for your time. Been an absolute.
Yeah, V, do you have anything? I feel like I talked over you. Do you have anything to add, buddy?
No, you're good. I'm fine. Yeah, that was great. It's all Kris, you feel good?
Me, I'm fantastic, bro. I've really enjoyed this interview. It's been great. It's even the fact like I'm not looking at your faces and talking to you.
Sorry.
It's been good. Like it's added to the whole element of the band. It's good. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a good chat.
Well, thank you, Kris. You're
much.
very sweet for playing along with our bullshit. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. And hopefully, if you make it over to Australia with the project one day in the future, we'll catch up and
Oh, I would.
we can all see how we actually are.
I would love to go to Australia. That would be amazing.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your day and good luck with everything, eh?
Hey, thank you very much.
No worries, boys. Take care.